Hi, Illithid here. I started getting back into Tekken 8 recently because a friend of mine had picked it up. I've actually owned the game since release, but I only put maybe 20 hours into it during the first month before moving on to other things. Fast forward to the third weekend of April, I'm back at it again. I'm currently floating at around 100 hours of playtime, and I recently reached Orange ranks with Yoshimitsu. I wanted to make this series to document my journey through learning Tekken, and to kind of give me the opportunity to reflect on growth as a player. Here, I'll talk about the things that I've learned, and maybe it'll help some people along the way. So, 2 quick things before we begin. 1. I've dabbled in Tekken 5 and Tekken 7 in the past, so I'm not completely new to the series. I came into this already familiar with the gameplay, but my character knowledge and fundamentals were basically non-existent. And 2. This first episode in the series will primarily be a catch-up to the current day. Some of the matches that you'll see in this video are replays. I would have loved to show my early ranked matches to give an honest look at how I was playing back then, but unfortunately, I just found out that the game only saves a maximum of 100 replays. And it really doesn't help that I've been on that ghost grind to get more costumes. Future episodes will feature live ranked matches though, so stay tuned for those. And without further delay, let's get started. Prior to entering my first online ranked match, I played through the tutorial, the story mode, and spent about an hour or so in the lab playing around with the combo challenges. With a few pokes and combos in my pocket now, I started to best the ultra hard difficulty computer in versus mode, so I was feeling pretty confident, but nervous. It's just the whole competing with strangers part that gets to me. But that didn't matter though, because muscle memory carried your boy all the way from beginner to the green ranks. And then, I started running into more skilled players. I was getting absolutely demolished by basically anybody that had any concept of defense or played in a hyper-aggressive rushdown style. And honestly, my playing was so ass that punishes were coming in left and right, and I didn't even know it. Everything I tried to do resulted in me getting countered, comboed, and the next thing you know, I'm getting real intimate with the wall on the other side of the stage. I had a hard time even getting off the ground, which, in hindsight, mashing probably didn't do me any favors. So back to the lab I went, this time with the goal being to learn Yoshimitsu's moves. While I did go through the entirety of the move list, the goal wasn't to commit all 200 to memory. I was actually trying to learn moves that could be used to quickly punish or interrupt an opponent. I also picked up a few situational combos too. At about this time, I actually found a really cool feature in the Tekken 8 replay system. Whenever you view it, you can view it from either your side or your opponent's side, but it actually gives you tips on how to handle your opponent's offense by identifying duckable moves and providing punishes. And with that, I was able to get to the last yellow rank, Dominator. I was so close to the orange ranks, but I started getting smashed again. It wasn't due to the typical rushdown beatdown this time though. It was actually a mixture of just getting outplayed and eating every single hit or throw that could have been blocked, avoided, or broken.
You lose.
At this point, I knew that my defense needed huge improvements, but the problem is, I just couldn't react fast enough. Later that day, while I was browsing YouTube, I was recommended a video by this channel called FeeDX. It was his video explaining Tekken 8's rank system, but I saw that he also had content teaching Tekken. Up until this point, I haven't consumed any Tekken 8 content on the internet, on purpose. Let me explain. As I grew up, I played a variety of games, but no matter the game, I always wanted to be the best. And with the internet making information so easily accessible, the first thing I would always do is look up a character guide. If it was an RPG, I had to spec into what everyone recommended. If it was a MOBA, I had to build my skills or buy items according to what was in the current meta. And if it was a fighting game, I had to know the most damaging combos. Forget everything else. I'm just here to know what's good, and I'm here to win. But as I've gotten older, I've learned that it's a lot more important to build a strong foundation through first-hand experience than it is just to be knowledgeable about what's considered good. Because with a strong foundation, you're able to apply that knowledge when learning new characters, analyzing your own mistakes, finding holes in your opponent's strategies, and more. But if all you knew was how to dish out big damage, You can only get so far until you run into someone that knows how to deal with your shenanigans. I'm not saying that it's bad to learn about what's in the current meta for more skilled players. I'm just saying that if I had to pick what to learn as a new player, I would definitely familiarize myself with the fundamentals. Wait, where was I going with this? Oh right, FDX. So I've only watched a handful of tutorials from him, but these are the 3 that I can say that helped me understand the game more. There may have been one more where he talked about turns and combat, but I can't remember which one it is. I'll elaborate more on that in a minute though. The link to those 3 videos will be in the description below for your convenience. The most important thing that I learned was from implementing the drill in the 5 steps to never get grabbed again video. And I'll be honest, it was so overwhelming at the beginning. The grab animation looked so fast, and I could barely even do the level 1 drill during my first go at it. But what I noticed is that over time, it taught me to watch my opponent and learn what their moves look like. That probably sounds obvious to some of you, but hear me out. What I noticed is that while I was watching my opponent, I wasn't necessarily watching for the right thing. I was just trying to predict what they were going to do, and watch for openings so I could throw out a punish or a launcher, which caused me to eat the same shit over and over and over.
It's over.
I didn't realize that I was doing this until I slowed down my playing, turned off autopilot, and made it a conscious effort to focus on defense. And then, the drill got easier. And over the next 4 to 5 sessions, over a period of 2 days, I was able to work up to level 5. And with that drill alone, my play became so much better. The 2 other major things that helped me was learning to sidestep with purpose, and waiting until your turn to respond. At first, I didn't understand how to utilize the sidestep properly, so I would just randomly do it to appear evasive or to attempt to predict an attack. Unbeknownst to me, you can actually get hit during a sidestep. I just thought it was like a role in a Souls game where the sidestep would grant invincibility frames. But no, you can't block during it, and there's actually a variety of ways you can get hit. From not timing it correctly, to using it against a move that can't be sidestepped, and even simply sidestepping the wrong way. Now to touch on the turns that I mentioned earlier, despite Tekken obviously not being a turn-based game, you and your opponent do still take turns attacking each other. These turns can be identified by looking at the frame data behind the moves and combos, the distance that they create between you and your opponent, and the properties of the attack. Here, I'll give a quick example of each. So my opponent just finished his combo, and we can see that they have negative frames. This means that they can't do anything during that period of time because they're still recovering from the attack. So if I respond with something that comes out quicker than they can recover, it effectively becomes my turn and I can punish them. In regard to distance, some moves or combos are inherently safe despite the frame disadvantage simply because the defender doesn't have anything to respond with that's both quick enough and able to reach their opponent.
NANI?
Although the attacker's turn did end, it puts both players back into the neutral game where they're both looking to re-engage. Ducking or sidestepping can be used to dodge your opponent's attacks and forcibly start your turn. With my newly learned knowledge, I headed back into ranked.
Nope.
I want to thank you for watching and also thank everyone that engaged with the previous video. Oh, yeah, about that. For those that have been following my channel, I'm sorry if this isn't the type of content that you originally subscribed for. I stopped making the Blade and Sorcery mod videos around the beginning of 2024 because I started to get burnt out on the game and creativity just wasn't flowing like it used to. I do hope that you stick around while I explore other types of content though. And don't worry, this isn't going to become a Tekken channel. I do have another type of video in the making, and a few more ideas in line after that, but I plan to continue making these periodic videos going over my Tekken progress, and maybe some other stuff too, because I like to reflect on progress. It's one of those things where you know it's there, but unless you take the time to think about it, it can be hard to notice. Recently, I've learned to take the time to celebrate the victories in life, no matter how small. It's those little celebrations that remind you that you are on your way to meeting your goals. But with that, remember that your progress is your own and should not be used as a metric for comparison of success. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a thumbs up and subscribing if you want to see more content from me. See you next time.